Walk us through how a textbook is created. I would love for you, and I'm asking this because I have, our family has been to the BJU campus, and we've gotten to see from literally the very birth of a textbook to the very completion, including printing of a textbook. Can you walk us through, because it's absolutely fascinating, and I think it's something that's really important for parents to understand how a textbook is actually created. Can you take us through that process?
I can, and of course, every company is going to do it a little bit
Sure.
differently. But basically, there's a scope and sequence, and so
Mhm.
what I mean by that is what is taught for. Let's say we're just talking about math. What is taught from kindergarten math through 12th grade math? What is covered across the board in those subjects? What needs to be taught? So they look at the big picture of all of math and they kind of storyboard that out and they plan that by the grade. And so I pick third grade math because third grade's my favorite. And so we'll go with the third grade math. And
That's when math
so
is still fun-ish.
it is fun. And so third grade, these certain concepts need to be covered. And so they look at state standards, they look at national standards, they look at other curriculum companies. We all look at each other's stuff
Yeah.
to see, mostly to see, are we all handling the subject matter
Mhm.
appropriately, age appropriate? Is there a better way to do this? And so there's a ton of research that goes on. And so, because we're K through 12, we're looking at all the subjects all the time,
Mhm.
constantly. And so, any curriculum company, even if they're just one subject, they're looking at the scope and sequence of their whole line and going, we want kids in this grade to be able to do this. And by this grade, they need to be able to do that. So we need to work on these skills here and these skills here. And so there's a lot of pre planning. It takes a long time to plan and organize and research, and that takes a lot of dedication and understanding of the subject matter,
Mhm.
understanding history, understanding science, and also understanding that age level of learning. So
Mhm.
what a third grader learns compared to a seventh grader. So
Yeah.
knowing what's age appropriate. So they plan all those things, and then they're also going to plan, by units, by chapters, by lessons. And so in a particular lesson, they're looking at, again, going from point A to point B. Child does not know how to tell time at the beginning of the lesson. At the end of the lesson, they can be able to tell o'clock and half past. And so they're
Yeah.
looking for ways to help that child learn those things. And then what materials are needed to teach that.
Mhm.
Um, does a child need a clock? Does a child need, what questions do we ask the child? How do we assess that? Is there a test? Is there a quiz? Now we need to write a test or we need to write a
Right.
quiz. And so they're planning through all of those parts and pieces. And once all of that stuff is done, as they're working, their editing everything. And so when I worked for a curriculum company, it was a lot of fun. Everything's done digitally now, but when I was there, it
Yeah.
was a red pencil, a green pencil, and a blue pencil. And so they would go through and mark. The editors are everything in a curriculum
Yeah.
company. They check for everything. They check to make sure not only that things are spelled well, but things are age appropriate, that it's
Mhm.
consistent with your brand. They make sure the pictures fit on the page. They make sure of the margins. And so you work with the art department
Mhm.
and you as a writer decide, hey, I really want to have a picture of this in it, but I want him to have this look on his face. And so the art department looks for a picture and they have to get permission to purchase a picture
Uh-huh.
because of copyright. And so being really careful of copyright, you have permissions and editorial, and you have page layout, and you have authors, and all those people work together to create a document, a beautiful and amazing document, which is a textbook in the PDF. And so once that is done, and God has blessed the efforts of a lot of people, a lot of time has gone on there, then that PDF document goes to print. And depending on the company, that's going to depend on how they print. Now, some
Sure.
people will send it out of country
Mhm.
or to a separate place. Uh, where we were, they had their own print shop, and
Mhm.
so they could print their own materials. And in fact, now there are even cooler printers that you can print a whole book in one sitting now.
Oh, wow.
So if they're running low on something and
Mhm.
they need to pop out a whole book really quick, they can actually it's amazing.
That's incredible.
And then there are people to bind the books and people to make sure that all the parts and pieces are where they belong. And then there's warehouse people and people who label and ship it. And it's an army of people really
Yeah.
who work together. And the main goal is to love on your family and help your kids learn. And so I hope
Yeah.
that when you order something from somebody and you open that box, you have that box day, which is such a big deal for so many parents,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
you
yeah,
see
it's like
beautiful
Christmas.
it is. You see those beautiful books and your kids are oohing and awing. Let me tell you that there are hundreds of people standing in line. Open up the beginning of your teacher's edition and look at the names there.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my word. Something that we always did, we celebrated every time a book was published. Anybody who had anything to do with the book, anything, all stood up and got clapped
Oh,
for
wow.
and had a party
Oh, did you
every
have
time.
cake?
We had cake, we had
Oh,
you
good.
name it, there was a party every single time a book went out and everybody celebrated.
Nice.
It was an amazing thing. So I know it sounds silly,
No,
but
it
maybe
doesn't.
for the parents out there, they'll realize that this isn't just it's just isn't just a
It's not just
library
slapped
book.
together.
No, this is intentional and it's meant to bless your family. And so,
Yeah.
you know, curriculum writers are thinking about your kids. They're
Yep.
thinking about homeschool. They're thinking about how to help your kids be engaged and to love learning. And
Yeah.
so, let them enjoy those books.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.